Hey everybody, this is Great Black Swamp Talk, so we all may prosper. I have a very special guest with me today, running for City Council, District 5, Sam Melden. The Sensible Toledo Ordinance, which decriminalized marijuana, I think up to 99 grams. Where did you stand on that?
Yeah,
2015.
Yeah, I think that we're having a lot of really good conversations around, minor offenses and what that costs people in their real lives. I think when people can commit enormous federal crimes and wiggle their way out, but then someone gets caught with a little bit of marijuana and they end up in it's a crazy conversation. So I think we're having a lot of good conversations. So I was in support of that. I think that we're having more of those conversations than we should.
So that's something that we may see evolve over the next couple of years looking forward on City Council. Where do you stand with decriminalization, legalization, when we look at, the failed drug war of the past?
Right. Yeah, so I kind of said it earlier when I said that I don't want anyone's life to be forever altered because of a minor drug offense that didn't hurt anyone else. I mean, that's one of the things I think about when you think about any sort of criminal justice issue. What I would also say, though, is I am not an expert in this, and I'm going to leave that to the experts. But here's one concern I would have is some of the conversations people are having around children in that conversation. I don't know a lot about it, but when I think about you fast forward to a place where everything's legalized and everything's available in all these different forms, and there's dispensaries and stores. I worry about children a little bit in that conversation. Okay. But again, I would claim to be able to talk about a lot of things, and that's not one that I'm that well versed in.
While we're kind of on that subject, the opioid crisis. We've seen some municipalities have programs such as safe needle exchanges and things like that. Would you be in favor of that?
Sure.
Okay. What else do you think you would do to try to help addiction problems?
Well, beyond just saying sure, I could give you a little more. I'm sure you're after more than just sure. And let me say, someone asked me that recently on Facebook. They sent me a message and said, "I like that because opioid issues is in my platform." So the website/platform is one of the things. Anyway, so they asked about safe needle exchanges, and I gotta be honest, I had to look into it a little bit. And when you look at some of the data, it just shows that it does more. It helps more than it harms. And so in these moments of enormous issues where seemingly everyone's affected, I think we gotta look at things that does more good than it does, than there's a negative side. So that's what I would say, in addition to sure. In addition to the safe needle exchange, though, in 2017 when I ran at large, I had an initiative that I wanted to roll out called Block Out Heroin. And the idea was empowering block watches, which I think is already it's amazing how 2 years it kind of goes forward a little bit. But in 2017, if you remember, we were having a lot of conversations around Narcan, right? Narcan was the thing. And as it became such a quick intervention and life-saving intervention, I felt like we could train our members of Block Watch to be ready to administer Narcan, right? I mean, you could go into a fast food restaurant and find someone in the bathroom. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. You hear some of these stories. And so I felt like in the same way someone carries around an EpiPen or someone's carrying around these different things, I felt like we probably, unfortunately, are at that point where if you were trained, you knew how to administer it, then let's do it. And also, people who are members of Block Watch are self-articulating that they want to be a part of a solution, which I love. And so that was a program I had in 2017, and to the degree that that's still helpful or necessary, I'd like to see that happen.
Okay. Now, current Citizens Initiative, the Ban the Cam Initiative, which would stop the red flex, red light cameras, as well as the police officers on the highway with the camera guns. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah.
Because that might be something that happens after you get elected.
Yeah, will that be on the ballot in November?
It won't be in November.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it'll be in November.
Yeah.
That way.
All right.
And so signatures are coming a little takes a little longer to get those signatures
Sure.
than
No, it's a huge
maybe
lift.
one summer.
No, I would say too about the signature thing, right? Isn't it a lot easier to just have like elected officials who are responsive to the needs of citizens rather than have to go hustle 1 million signatures? Is what it feels like.
It does.
And then have them be valid and all of those things.
Right.
So, as it currently has been framed to me, I'm against that ban the cam initiative, and let me explain.
Yeah,
Because I'm sure you want me to.
Please do.
I think that it's kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay.
You know, you're going to notice a bit of a trend with me. I'm going to probably want to dive into it and get a little nuanced. So, you know, when we talk about these issues, keep the jail downtown. It's not that simple. Ban the cam. I don't think it's that simple. And here's what I mean. I am against police playing laser tag on an overpass. It doesn't make sense to me. I think it's not right. However, you know what the number one concern that I hear, not number one, but it's up there, man. One of the biggest concerns I hear in neighborhoods as I'm out there talking to voters and knocking a lot of doors, is, so I think about Berdan, right, in District 5. So think about Berdan between Douglas and Secor.
Yeah.
Those houses are tight, close together, and they're also close to the street.
Right.
That street's 35 miles an hour.
Right.
That means people are going 50. Talking to this parent, 18-month-old child, what happens when a kid's 18 months old? They start walking and running around. So she's like, I can never go in our front yard with our kid because I'm nervous that people speeding through, cutting through, right? So Douglas gets backed up near El Camino, slide down Berdan, get over to Secor, right? Or vice versa. So how do we remedy that? You can't say, oh, well, we'll just put police officers in cars on those streets all the time. We don't have enough time as it is. Right. I mean, the mayor in 17 ran on budget to hire more police. Right? We're always having a conversation about more police. So I think we have to have, so this makes me think we're going to have a larger conversation around technology. I don't think that the current way we're using speed enforcement is, I don't think the current speed enforcement method is perfect. I don't like the idea that we have some out-of-town vendor. I think the vendor relationship is worth looking into, and I think citizens should do that.
Redflex has been caught being corrupt in places in Ohio, like Columbus, and Chicago. So they are definitely a problem.
Right. Yeah, and so we should hold our vendors to account with how they're behaving in every possible way. I also don't like the laser tag thing, but I think the idea of speed enforcement and using technology is important. And here's the other thing I would say about technology. We need to have a larger conversation around how we use technology in our city anyway.
Okay.
I mean, if you could have the most crystal clear camera, if you could have the most crystal clear body camera on a police officer, we would all want that. We want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But then we have other conversations around technology when it comes to cameras enforcing the speed limit, and we don't like that. And so I think we got to have that conversation and figure out a better way forward. What we have now isn't working. I think the ban the cam thing goes too far.
Do you think that, would you be for stopping the, so again, you tend to fall in the middle ground on a lot of these issues. So it is sometimes difficult to figure out where you would stand and how you would govern, right? And as an elected official. So, you know, what does that really mean, what you said? Does that mean that you would be for, because you don't like Redflex, would you be for stopping the enforcement of the red light cameras now until we find another vendor? Or what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so here's a few ideas. Yeah, it's good. No, please do. So first of all, let me say my governing style would be called thoughtful. And I'm not going to shy away from that. That's how I am, and that's how I approach things. I'm going to ask more questions than I'm going to have answers. I don't need to be first. I want to be right. So I'm not going to be the first one out with some, hot take. I want to think about it and come up with a solution. But then in the thinking about it, there's opportunities to be creative. So here's a few ideas that I've thought about. One, if you're going to enforce speed on highways, let's say, I don't think it's inappropriate to throw a sign 500 yards back that says speed enforced area upcoming. Okay. So people know where they're going. Now you could make the argument that there are signs and they're called speed limit signs. And the best way to protest cameras is to not speed. Right. But I think for more transparency, which is one of the conversations we need to have, to know that police officers are up there, I think it'd be nice to give them notice. We do that with OVI stops. It's in the news ahead of time, right? So I think some transparency like that would be well applied here. Let's talk about the vendor, red flags. I think we should put a call out right now to all tech entrepreneurs in our city and say, come up with a better solution, and we want to hire a local vendor to do this service, to kind of help with this part of our speed enforcement. So there's two potential solutions.
This is Great Black Swamp Talk. Remember, swamp up or sit down so we all may prosper. Peace. Follow Golden Rule Mack on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And don't forget to vote by September 10th.